Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh, yeah. Talking about you all day.
Oh my God.
Blake Lively just lost it completely after Anna Kendrick publicly humiliated her at the Another Simple Favor premiere.
Anna Kendrick can't fake it. She's just like, listen, I know y'all want me to, but I can't. I can't with this woman.
Blake should have known that no one is faking support for her anymore, not even her own co-stars. And Anna's cold, dismissive attitude, that was karma in real time for Blake's years of manipulation.
I don't know. This doesn't look like a woman under stress. This doesn't look like a woman who can barely get out of bed, as we've seen in reports. This looks like a woman who cannot wait to be back in the spotlight.
March 7th, 2025. The day Blake Lively thought she was about to stage the grandest comeback in Hollywood history. The Another Simple Favor premiere at South by Southwest was supposed to be her glorious return. The moment she pranced back into the industry like she hadn't just burned every bridge, pissed off half of Hollywood, and become the walking embodiment of PR disaster.
On Friday, the premiere of Another Simple Favor, starring the Never With Teeth icon and Anna Kendrick, happened in Austin, Texas at the South by Southwest Film Festival.
But oh no, instead of basking in the glow of a Hollywood queen comeback, she walked straight into the worst public humiliation of her entire career. Imagine strutting in like you own the industry, only to realize Hollywood wants nothing to do with you.
The yummy chanteuse did show up and walked the red carpet.
This wasn't a redemption tour. This was a career suicide mission on a grand scale. Her former friends? Gone. Her once loyal fans? Turning against her in real time. Her co-stars, the people forced to pretend they like her for a paycheck? Completely over it. But the real dagger? Anna Kendrick wasn't playing nice anymore. And that's where things went from bad to catastrophic.
Anna Kendrick wanted none of that. She chose not to. Smart, I think, right?
Now, let's talk about the red carpet disaster that should honestly be framed as a case study in Hollywood self-destruction. Blake tried, oh she really tried, to fake the enthusiasm, flashing those insufferable, I'm so effortlessly charming smiles like people were still falling for it. But newsflash, no one bought it. Everyone, from the reporters to the fans to the literal body language experts breaking down her micro-expressions, knew she was faking it.
I don't know. This doesn't look like a woman under stress. This doesn't look like a woman who can barely get out of bed, as we've seen in reports. This looks like a woman who cannot wait to be back in the spotlight.
And then came Anna Kendrick, queen of passive-aggressive annihilation. Reporters threw her the softball question of the night. What does it mean to be working with Blake again? And Anna, in what can only be described as one of the coldest, most soul-crushing responses in Hollywood history, simply went, oh, you know.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh, yeah. Talking about you all day.
Oh my God.
That's it. No fake excitement, no sugarcoating, just 3 words dripping in the kind of dismissal that burns hotter than the sun. It was the verbal equivalent of kicking Blake down a flight of stairs and then walking away without even checking if she got up. Twitter, Reddit, the entire internet lost its mind.
What's it like working with her again? Oh, you know. I know.
Even body language experts were having a field day with that moment. The tone, the stiff posture, the absolute lack of effort. Anna was screaming through every fiber of her being that she wanted nothing to do with this woman. And let's not forget Henry Golding, who, when asked about reuniting with his co-stars, smirked and said, "What could go wrong?" That wasn't just sarcasm. That was straight up Hollywood code for this entire movie is a disaster, and we all know who's to blame.
I thought this was a great response. She didn't even want to play nice. That is how bad it is to be around Blake Lively. Anna knows how important this is.
And as if that wasn't painful enough for Blake, even Variety, yes, the same Variety that bends over backward to keep celebrities looking good, tried to sugarcoat it. But nope, Anna wasn't playing the fake PR game anymore. She dodged every attempt to make her say something nice about Blake like her career depended on it.
Kendrick was privately fuming at Lively's failure to address how her ongoing battle with Baldoni was negatively impacting their upcoming movie.
At this point, the energy on that red carpet wasn't just awkward. It was screaming, Hollywood is done with Blake Lively. But guess who wasn't done roasting her into oblivion? The people outside the venue.
And there's a hypocrisy and a fraudulence there that the public is picking up on.
Because while Blake was inside, pretending she was still an A-list star, outside, people were literally dragging her name through the dirt. Protesters were lined up with huge, bold, in-your-face signs that read, "Justice for Justin Baldoni," and "Blake lied." Oh, but the highlight? The custom-made Blake Lied t-shirt.
She has her poster here. It says, "Justice for Justin Baldoni, Blake lied."
Yes, someone actually designed, printed, and wore a whole outfit dedicated to exposing her. Do you understand the level of hatred it takes for someone to go out of their way to design protest merch against you? This wasn't some random Twitter thread. This was real-world, in-your-face humiliation.
She has her poster here. It says, "Justice for Justin Baldoni, Blake lied."
And don't even try to downplay the protest turnout. This wasn't just a couple of people waving signs. This was a full-blown movement. Fans, industry insiders, people who had probably once admired Blake were now actively campaigning against her. The fact that even mainstream outlets like the Daily Mail picked up the story meant this wasn't some niche internet drama anymore. It was everywhere. The industry, watching, the reporters, documenting, Hollywood, taking notes.
Blake Lively's terrified to do the red carpet, and that Anna Kendrick is pissed off. This is insider information that she hates her, she can't stand her.
At this point, you could see it in Blake's face. She knew. She knew that this wasn't just another PR hurdle to jump over. This was her career imploding in real time, and there was no fixing it. Because here's the thing, Hollywood has a short memory, but it never forgets when it has collectively decided to cancel you.
Like, what does it mean to be back with Anna?
Oh, it's the best. I'm so happy. Like, this way.
And honestly, what did Blake think was going to happen? That she could just saunter onto a red carpet pretending like she wasn't in the middle of the most embarrassing PR disaster of her life? That she could smile her way through an industry that has completely turned its back on her? She thought this was going to be her grand comeback, but instead, it was an entire industry gathering to watch her downfall in real time.
She looked really bad then too, but still, she clearly can apologize.
Yeah, she's capable of it.
But she would not apologize, and I find that despicable.
Yeah.
And the best part? Hollywood doesn't even have to actively cancel her. It's doing something even worse. It's ignoring her. No desperate last-minute PR spin, no fake damage control, just silent rejection. The kind that makes you irrelevant faster than an embarrassing Met Gala outfit.
You have to kind of go into these details to really get a full understanding of just how bad Blake Lively is.
Blake can hire as many PR fixers as she wants. She can scrub the internet all day long. But this is unerasable, because no amount of paid-for-media headlines can erase the moment Anna Kendrick ended her with 3 words. No fake red carpet smiles can rewrite the fact that people were literally protesting her outside the venue.
Definitely trying to be like, do you think the movie has been impacted by the Blake and Justin stuff, without being so blunt? And Anna tried her best to be like, I don't know, like, what's going on? And she walked away so fast, like she did not want to be asked any more questions like that.
And the industry, it's watching. It sees the backlash, the protests, the co-stars who refuse to engage, the brands dropping her like expired milk. And if there's one thing Hollywood hates more than bad press, it's associating with someone who has become an industry liability.
Basically enemies, and their press tours had to be booked separately.
Blake thought she was walking into her grand moment, but really, she walked into an industry that had already moved on. Let's get one thing straight. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick never liked each other. Not in 2018, not in 2024, not now, not ever. Hollywood may try to fake its way through these so-called on-screen besties relationships, but in this case, they couldn't even pretend.
How quickly do you...
Don't touch me.
Back in 2018, A Simple Favor made $98 million on a $25 million budget, which sounds great. Except the only thing more successful than that movie's box office run was the pure, undiluted hatred brewing between its two leads.
Now it's reported Blake Lively had another issue making the 2018 movie A Simple Favor, which was a success, making $98 million on a budget of $25 million, but she didn't get along with Anna Kendrick.
The tension between Blake and Anna was so unbearable, so toxic, so awkward, that the studio had to separate them for interviews. Just think about that for a second. These are grown adults being paid millions of dollars, and they still couldn't sit next to each other without creating a PR crisis.
Well, I met Blake. I worked with her husband Ryan several years ago, so I met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
Got it.
And thought she seemed nice, and little did I know.
Yeah.
And the real reason? Blake's textbook narcissism. Anna Kendrick is low-key, professional, and has no time for fake Hollywood games. Meanwhile, Blake Lively is the queen of fake. She's all smiles for the cameras, but behind the scenes, she's that entitled coworker who acts like your best friend when the boss is around but stabs you in the back the moment they turn away.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that Blake has lost many roles to my glamour, beauty, and elegance. Sorry about it, Blake.
And it wasn't just Anna who couldn't stand Blake. One former crew member was so traumatized from dealing with her that they straight up quit Hollywood. That's right. Not just the movie, the entire damn industry. Imagine being so unbearable that someone would rather throw their entire career in the trash than ever work with you again. Blake Lively didn't just ruin someone's job, she ruined their entire Hollywood dream.
Which I think is like not fair.
Yeah, you're such a bad daughter.
Terrible daughter.
Fast forward to 2024, and somehow, Blake managed to be even more insufferable. With the Another Simple Favor sequel, Blake was determined to play the same manipulative, ego-driven, narcissistic games all over again. And this time, she wasn't just annoying, she was completely delusional.
This person is not an honest broker. I believe her less than ever. I actually disbelieve her fully now.
First up, the poster controversy. Because, of course, Blake had to make this all about her. Anna's name was listed first, which is standard for billing credits, but Blake couldn't handle it. So instead of dealing with it like a normal person, she demanded that her name be placed higher than Anna's. Not in a bigger font, not in a bolder color, just literally placed slightly higher. The level of pettiness, insecurity, and desperation required for that move is honestly embarrassing.
It was reported they were both pretty immature, where Anna Kendrick demanded to show her cleavage in the poster to distract people from Blake Lively. And the two didn't have a good relationship on set, which is why they didn't do many interviews marketing the movie together.
And Hollywood immediately noticed. Fans were roasting her on Twitter within seconds. One tweet, racking up thousands of likes, said it best. Blake Lively would rather cancel the entire movie than let Anna Kendrick get more attention. And honestly, no lies detected. This is who Blake Lively is. A deeply insecure, PR-obsessed diva who can't stand when the attention isn't entirely on her. She built her entire career on manipulating the media into thinking she was Hollywood's golden girl. But now the industry is catching on. Because Hollywood doesn't love her anymore. In fact, Hollywood has officially cut her loose.
Sense of humor, and they also both make everyone that they're around better at what they do. Like they're just because you sink or swim, and it's true. You guys are both so good that people just like get on their A game.
There was a time when Blake could do no wrong. She was a fashion darling, getting front row seats at every designer's runway show, landing luxury brand deals with Gucci and Chanel. But guess what? Those days are over. Gucci, gone. Chanel, not returning her calls. The fashion industry has dropped her like a bad habit.
Blake Lively, after her biggest success, was just met with a lot of controversy, but now to make things worse, it's come out she feuded with Anna Kendrick.
And it gets worse. Hollywood agents are straight up telling studios that casting her is financially irresponsible. Let's break that down. She's not just unpopular, she's a literal liability. You know you've tanked your reputation when luxury brands, who would slap their logo on a piece of garbage if they thought it would sell, won't even touch you. At SXSW, she tried to wave to fans, sign autographs, and fake that same charming, effortlessly cool energy she used to sell. But everyone could feel the desperation. There's a difference between being adored and being tolerated. And Blake was very much being tolerated. Her PR playbook isn't working anymore. The industry isn't buying what she's selling. And the second Hollywood stops buying into your narrative, you're finished.
What's your expertise? I want to give equal opportunity.
Oh, I'm not an expert at anything. I know a couple things here and there.
And this is where things get even more pathetic. Because instead of facing the consequences of her own actions, Blake Lively decided to go full damage control mode. She needed a fixer, someone to scrub the internet clean of her scandals and manipulate the media back into thinking she's an innocent victim.
He was given blank checks to pay people off, make things go away, manipulate the headlines in the news.
Enter Nick Shapiro, a former CIA chief turned Hollywood PR mercenary turned professional problem eraser. This is the guy who handled Angelina Jolie's divorce from Brad Pitt, which, if you've followed that mess, was one of the nastiest, most manipulative PR battles in celebrity history.
So Nick Shapiro to me is doing what we would refer to as SEO manipulation and narrative control. It's also in some circles called reputation laundering, just kind of like money laundering.
And now, he's Blake's last-ditch attempt at saving her sinking career. Shapiro's entire strategy revolves around rewriting reality, and Blake desperately needs that right now. Inside sources confirmed that Shapiro is actively scrubbing negative coverage and working overtime to reshape the media narrative.
But he's coming in and fixing. So what I imagine we're going to see is a lot more of kind of that reputation laundering, where we're seeing a lot more positive stories to bury the bad. So he's turning in this ethical long-term strategy to improve a brand or to prop up a brand.
But here's the thing, it's failing miserably. Because no amount of PR spin can erase what people saw with their own eyes. Blake is not some misunderstood Hollywood darling. She is an industry manipulator who has spent years playing the system to her advantage.
We've seen quite a few stories this week about Justin Boltoni and that he's not really a nice guy. Do you think that's Nick Shapiro at work? Does he have, can he get placed? Can he get these kind of article placed?
And even Ryan Reynolds is getting dragged down with her. At this point, Blake and Ryan are clinging to whatever PR lifeline they can find. They're trying to act like this is just a temporary controversy, but Hollywood doesn't work like that. The second you become a liability, a risk, a walking PR disaster, you're done. And right now, Blake Lively is as done as it gets.
Throughout this whole process now, we've never seen her show any kind of take responsibility for anything she's done or ever been remorseful of anything, ever apologizing.
At this point, Blake Lively's entire life is a PR dumpster fire, but unfortunately for her, she's not going down alone. Nope, she's dragging Ryan Reynolds with her, kicking and screaming. For years, Ryan was the golden boy of Hollywood. Funny, charming, inoffensive, universally liked. But guess what? That carefully crafted image is getting obliterated thanks to his wife's never-ending scandals. Marvel Studios, the same company that kept Ezra Miller and Jonathan Majors on payroll through major PR disasters, is side-eyeing Ryan Reynolds now. Do you know how toxic your public image has to be for Marvel? The literal kings of, we don't care about your crimes as long as you sell tickets, to start pulling away? Blake's mess is that bad.
Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho.
And Deadpool 3? Oh, that marketing team is in full-blown panic mode. They don't want a single ounce of this PR disaster touching the movie. Imagine spending years building up Deadpool as the one safe bet franchise in Hollywood, only to have your wife's scandals ruin it right before release. Ryan is desperately trying to do damage control, but guess what? The internet doesn't forget.
She doesn't have a Deadpool. She kind of lost it and had to be meticulously controlling every piece of the movie.
And you know how you can tell Ryan is freaking out? His social media jokes about Blake? Completely gone. Look at my hilarious marriage isn't making a single joke about her anymore. That whole we're so relatable and cute shtick, dead, buried, cremated. Even Ryan's Hollywood friends are distancing themselves. Industry insiders confirm that people who used to ride hard for him are now stepping back. Because let's be real, nobody wants to associate with a sinking ship.
They know that they've completely lost.
And then there's the SNL disaster. Ryan thought he could laugh his way out of the controversy. He went on Saturday Night Live, tried to make a lighthearted joke about the lawsuit, probably thinking the audience would eat it up. But instead, dead silence. Not a chuckle, not a nervous laugh. Just the sound of Hollywood collectively deciding, yeah, we're done with this guy.
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Ryan is learning a very painful Hollywood lesson. You can be as charming as you want, but if you attach yourself to a PR train wreck like Blake Lively, you will go down with her.
The celebrities are gossiping about drama amid Baldoni, right? They did this publicity stunt last night where they went on SNL and Ryan Reynolds made this silly joke, this really silly joke.
And speaking of Hollywood cutting people off, let's talk about the unofficial but very real blacklist Blake is currently on. Once upon a time, directors loved to sing her praises. She was the it girl, the one producers trusted to sell movies to the masses. Now, those same directors are suddenly very vague when asked about working with her again. Paul Feig, who directed A Simple Favor, tried his best to spin the narrative, taking to social media to assure people that Blake was totally great. Guys, please stop dragging her. But guess what? Nobody believed him. Fans called it blatant damage control, and it only made things worse.
There is not a single two-shot, meaning a picture of just Blake Hurd and Anna Kendrick. They did pose together with the director, Paul Feig, or Feig, however you say it.
And it's not just directors backing away. Former assistants, crew members, and people who have worked with Blake are suddenly coming forward. And let's just say, the stories are not flattering. Hollywood's worst-kept secret is finally out. Blake Lively is a nightmare to work with. She's demanding, controlling, manipulative, and has no problem throwing people under the bus to get her way. And now, the people she screwed over have nothing left to lose.
Oh, Into the Woods.
If
Last
I
night.
were to open my chair lungs, she wouldn't have a career. So,
The sacrifices she's made for me.
I really have.
Even Anna Kendrick, Henry Golding, and the rest of the cast aren't playing nice anymore. They're not pretending to like her, they're not defending her, they're just letting her career burn. And that's the biggest red flag of all. Because in Hollywood, when your own co-stars won't even fake a friendship for PR, it's over.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh, we're talking about you all day.
Blake thought she could survive this with strategic PR moves and industry connections. She was dead wrong. Because this lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, the one that was supposed to clear her name and turn her into some Me Too era martyr, it completely backfired. Instead of painting her as a victim, it exposed her for what she really is, a Hollywood manipulator who thought she could game the system.
A man being fully castrated by a woman who is using toxic feminism to get what she wants, right?
At first, Blake assumed she'd have industry-wide support. She thought she could pull the usual PR moves, cry about being a victim, and Hollywood would rally behind her, but that didn't happen. Instead, brands started stepping away, co-stars distanced themselves, and major studios saw her for what she was, a liability.
They weren't the first to do this. It was Blake Lively, it was Ryan Reynolds, this was their strategy, and now they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle, but guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle. The genie likes to be free, okay? And we're now all paying attention.
Her entire lawsuit turned into a career-ending disaster, and it's not just affecting her. Ryan is getting dragged down, her co-stars are fed up, and even Hollywood's most powerful PR teams can't spin this into something salvageable.
She alleges that she's a Me Too victim there. That's absurd.
At this point, brands, co-stars, and studios have all reached the same conclusion. Blake Lively is not worth the trouble. And that's the thing. Hollywood doesn't cancel people in the dramatic way social media thinks. It does something much worse. It moves on. It ignores you. It stops answering your calls, stops booking you, stops pretending you matter. And Blake Lively, she's learning that the hard way. Because right now, the only person who still believes in Blake Lively's PR spin is Blake Lively. Make sure to subscribe for more updates, because trust me, this drama is far from over.